Be me, Zoe, finally getting a real job after years of corporate office work. Decided I needed to prove something to myself. Took a position at a steel manufacturing plant because I read this article about how women need to break into male-dominated industries, not because I actually wanted to, but because the symbolism felt important. First day walking into the facility at 5:45 in the morning. Already exhausted, and I haven't even clocked in yet. Why does anything need to start before 9 in the morning, honestly? Meet my supervisor, this guy named Rick, who looks like he's been working here since the dawn of time. He gives me steel-toed boots, safety goggles, heat-resistant gloves, and a hard hat. The boots weigh approximately 9,000 pounds. Rick starts explaining something about the blast furnace, and I'm just thinking about how none of this equipment comes in styles that fit women properly. This is already proof of systemic exclusion, if you ask me. Get assigned to work with this crew of 5 guys. There's Thomas, Pete, Danny, Jerome, and this younger guy named Tyler. They all look at me like I'm an alien. Thomas is the one showing me what to do first. We're supposed to move these steel billets from one section to another using this overhead crane system. He's explaining the controls, and I'm trying to pay attention, but the noise in this place is literally unbearable. It's like standing inside a drum that someone's hitting with a hammer made of other hammers. This is torture, I say, not even trying to hide my feelings. Thomas looks at me with this expression. It's 6:15 in the morning. We haven't even started yet. Whatever, he doesn't get it. The heat from the furnaces is already making me sweat through my shirt. I'm talking like standing near the surface of the sun levels of heat. Try operating the crane and nearly drop a 2-ton piece of steel. Pete comes running over, actually running. His face is bright red. What are you doing? You could have killed someone. He's literally yelling at me. I try to explain that the controls are counterintuitive, and maybe if they labeled things better, this wouldn't happen. The controls are fine. You just need to pay attention. This isn't a joke. People die in here. He's so angry his hands are shaking. I want to point out that screaming at me isn't exactly creating a welcoming work environment, but he stomps off before I can spend the next hour doing what Thomas calls simple material sorting. There is nothing simple about lifting 50-pound pieces of metal over and over. My arms are literally going to fall off. This is actual torture. Like, this violates the Geneva Convention. Lunch break finally comes, and I'm collapsed on this bench in the break room. The guys are all sitting together, eating quickly. I have a salad I brought from home. Danny looks over at it and snorts. You're gonna need more than rabbit food working in here. I'm about to respond when Thomas cuts in. How are you holding up? There's something in his tone that isn't quite concern. More like he's confirming something he already suspected. Honestly, this is torture. I don't know how you guys do this every single day. The heat alone is inhumane. The table goes quiet. Jerome, who hasn't said much to me all morning, puts down his sandwich. Inhumane? You think this is inhumane? He's not yelling yet, but I can tell he's getting there. I've been doing this for 15 years. My father did it for 30. This is how we feed our families. I'm just saying that working conditions could be better, that's all. There's no reason it has to be this hard. Tyler laughs, but not in a friendly way. Oh, there's no reason? Really? Please, explain to us how steel manufacturing works since you've been here for 4 hours. His voice is dripping with sarcasm and, honestly, hostility. I'm just offering perspective. Thomas holds up his hand. Look, Zoe, I get that this is new to you, but maybe spend more than one morning here before you start telling us what's wrong with the job we've been doing for years. He sounds calm, but I can see the anger in his eyes. Everyone's angry at me, and I literally just got here. Afternoon shift is worse. We're working near the furnace doing something called tapping, which involves directing molten steel into molds. The heat is so intense, I feel like my skin is cooking. I have to keep stepping back, taking breaks. Every time I do, I can feel the guys getting more frustrated. Pete is working right next to me, and he's moving with this practiced efficiency. Meanwhile, I'm fumbling with every single task. Drop my rod tool thing for the 3rd time. Pete stops working, turns to me with this look of pure rage. Are you serious right now? The heat is literally impossible, Pete. I need a second. We all feel the same heat. You don't see us dropping our equipment every 5 minutes. His voice is getting louder with each word. Maybe if you actually focused instead of complaining constantly. I'm trying. Maybe if someone properly trained me instead of just expecting me to know everything. I did train you. Thomas trained you. You're not listening. Rick comes over, separates us. Later overhears him telling Pete to take 5 and cool off. Pete's response, I'm not the problem here. Day 1 finally ends at 2:30 in the afternoon. 9.5 hours. I can barely walk to my car. Every muscle in my body is screaming. This is absolutely torture, and I'm not being dramatic. Day 2 starts even worse because now I'm sore on top of tired. The alarm at 5 in the morning feels like a personal attack. Show up, and Thomas assigns me to work with Jerome on reinforcing bar processing. We're supposed to cut, bend, and sort rebar. The machine that cuts the rebar is so loud I want to cry. I keep having to ask Jerome to repeat himself. After the 5th time, he just stops talking to me altogether. Works in angry silence. Around 10 in the morning, I mention that we should probably have better hearing protection. Jerome finally speaks. We have hearing protection. You're wearing it. Those are earplugs in your ears, right? Well, yes, but clearly they're not adequate. They're industrial grade. They're fine. You're just not used to it. I'm just saying that long-term exposure. He actually throws down his gloves. Long-term? Long-term? You've been here for a day and a half, and you're talking about long-term exposure? He's properly yelling now. I'm thinking about all of us. No, you're not. You're complaining. There's a difference. You don't have to yell at me. This is how I talk when I'm mad. And you know what? I am mad. I'm mad because I'm doing twice as much work because you keep stopping to complain. Rick has to come over again, and has a quiet conversation with Jerome, who keeps gesturing at me. Can't hear what they're saying, but Jerome's face is red. Later, Rick pulls me aside. Zoe, is this job something you actually want to do? What kind of question is that? A fair one. Because you seem miserable, and you're making everyone else miserable. I'm just adjusting. Everyone should be more patient. Rick stares at me for a long moment. This is the steel industry. We don't have time for patience. We have quotas, deadlines, and safety requirements. You either keep up or you don't. That's a pretty harsh attitude. It's reality. He walks away, and I'm left standing there feeling like everyone's against me. Day 3. And my body has staged a full rebellion. Everything hurts. Alarm goes off, and I seriously consider quitting. But that would feel like proving something I don't want to prove, so I drag myself in. Today, we're doing maintenance on some of the equipment, which sounds easier than the actual steel production. It is not easier. We're climbing on catwalks, reaching into tight spaces, hauling tools. I'm working with Danny and Tyler today. Danny's in his 50s, moves like he's 30. Tyler's probably mid-20s, has this perpetual look of irritation, especially when he looks at me. We're supposed to replace some worn conveyor components. The bolts are rusted and stuck. I'm trying to loosen one with a wrench and it's not budging. This is literally impossible, I say. Tyler reaches over, takes the wrench, and loosens it in one motion. It's not impossible. You're just not strong enough. The way he says it is so dismissive. Well, maybe if the maintenance was done more regularly, Danny, who's been quiet, actually laughs. But it's a bitter sound. Oh, you think we don't maintain the equipment? Is that what you think? I'm just saying. You're just saying a lot of things about a job you know nothing about. His voice is getting that same angry edge all of them get. This equipment gets maintained on schedule, but it's heavy industrial machinery in a harsh environment. Things rust, bolts stick. That's reality. There's no need to be defensive. I'm not defensive. I'm tired. Tired of the constant commentary. Tyler nods along. Every single thing, she's got something to say. The heat, the noise, the equipment, the hours, the tools. Everything. He's talking about me like I'm not standing right there. Maybe if any of you actually listen to feedback. Feedback? Danny's properly shouting now. You think this is feedback? Feedback is constructive. This is torture, isn't feedback. This is impossible, isn't feedback. You're just whining. I'm trying to point out that working conditions. The working conditions are fine. Hard? Yes. Difficult? Absolutely. But fine. We all do it. We all manage. Tyler jumps in. You know what I think? I think you took this job to prove some kind of point, and now you're mad that it's actual work. That's not. It is. You thought you'd show up, do some light manufacturing work, and prove that women can do anything men can do. But you didn't expect it to be this hard. He's staring right at me, angry but also like he's solved a puzzle. And instead of just admitting it's not for you, you're blaming the job itself. I'm not blaming anything. I'm just saying it's harder than it needs to be. It's making steel. It's supposed to be hard. Danny's face is purple now. Steel doesn't care about your feelings. The furnace doesn't care if you're tired. The deadlines don't care if you think it's torture. He takes a breath, trying to calm down. Look, I got a daughter about your age. And if she came to me saying she wanted to work here, you know what I'd tell her? I'd tell her the truth. It's hard work. Brutal sometimes. Hot, loud, dangerous, exhausting. And I'd tell her she's welcome to try if she wants. But I'd also tell her that complaining every 5 minutes isn't going to make it easier. I'm not complaining every 5 minutes. Tyler actually checks his watch. You've complained 4 times in the last 20 minutes, I counted. They both go back to work. I'm left holding a wrench, feeling like I've been lectured. But also, they're wrong. They have to be wrong. There's a difference between complaining and advocating for better conditions. They just can't see it. Day 4, halfway through the week. Think about calling in sick. But I've never called in sick for anything, and I'm not starting now. Today we're in the rolling mill, where they take the heated steel and pass it through rollers to shape it. The noise here makes everywhere else seem quiet. It's a constant screaming metal sound. I'm supposed to monitor the gauge and signal if anything looks off. Sounds easy. Standing for 4 hours straight, staring at gauges is not easy. My feet are killing me. My back hurts. The heat is somehow worse here. This is actual torture, I say to Thomas, who's supervising. He closes his eyes for a second, like he's praying for patience. Zoe, please stop saying that. But it's true. It's not torture. Torture is a specific thing. This is hard work. Hard work shouldn't feel like punishment. He turns to face me fully. He's not yelling, but he looks more tired than angry. Can I be real with you for a second? Sure. You've been here 4 days. In those 4 days, you've complained more than anyone I've ever worked with. And I've worked with hundreds of people. I'm just being honest about the conditions. No, you're making everyone around you miserable. Do you know how many people have come to me asking not to be paired with you? That actually stings. All of them, Zoe. Every single person. Maybe that says more about them. It doesn't. It says that you're exhausting to be around. Not because you're a woman, not because you're new, but because you treat this job like it's some kind of personal offense to you. I'm just not going to pretend that this is okay. Then leave. If it's so bad, quit. No one's forcing you to be here. He is yelling now. Thomas, who's been the calmest one, is yelling. You think you're making some kind of point by staying and suffering and complaining? You're not. You're just making everyone else's job harder. How is me having observations making your job harder? Because we have to listen to it constantly, and we have to pick up your slack, and we have to deal with you slowing everything down. Pete walks by. Here's the conversation. She's still going on? Thomas nods. Pete comes over. Zoe, let me ask you something. What did you think this job was going to be like? I don't know. No, really. When you applied to work in a steel mill, what were you picturing? I thought it would be hard work. But you didn't think it would be this hard, right? He's not yelling, but there's this intensity to his words. And now you're here, and it is this hard, and instead of either adapting or leaving, you're just complaining. Every day. All day. I'm trying to adapt, Thomas laughs. No humor in it. How? How are you trying to adapt? By telling us everything that's wrong? By announcing that it's torture every 20 minutes? I'm allowed to express. You're allowed to quit. Pete says. That's what you're allowed to do. If you hate it this much, leave. I'm not a quitter. Then stop complaining. Both of them are yelling now. Jerome walks over to see what's happening. She's still on about the torture thing? Among other things, Thomas says. Jerome shakes his head. You know what? I'm gonna say something I probably shouldn't. He looks right at me. You came in here with this attitude like you were going to show us all up. Like you were going to prove that a woman could do this job just as well as any man. I never said. You didn't have to say it. We all saw it. And you know what? We didn't care. Women have worked here before. Not many, but some. And they were fine. You know why? Because they actually worked. I am working, barely. You're doing maybe half of what everyone else does, and complaining twice as much. His voice is getting louder. And the worst part is, you're not even listening. We've all tried to help you, give you advice, show you easier ways to do things. And every time, you've got some comment about how it shouldn't be this way, or how the conditions are wrong, or how it's torture. Maybe if you actually considered what I'm saying, why would we? You've been here 4 days. He's properly shouting now, gesturing wildly. I've been here 15 years. Thomas has been here 12. Pete's been here 20. And you, with your 4 days of experience, are going to tell us what's wrong with our job. Tyler and Danny have wandered over now. Great, an audience. Look, I try to keep my voice level. I understand you all have more experience. Danny cuts me off. Do you, though? Do you understand that? Because you sure don't act like it. Tyler nods. Every observation you make, every complaint, every comment, it's like you think you're the first person to ever notice that steelwork is hard. We know it's hard, Pete says. We live it every day. The difference is, we accept it and do the job anyway. Accepting substandard conditions isn't a virtue. Substandard? Now Jerome is really angry. This is one of the best-run mills in the state. We have good safety records, good equipment, good management. I'm not saying you're always saying. That's the problem. You're always saying something. Thomas holds up his hands. Okay, everyone back to work. Now. The guys disperse, all of them throwing looks back at me. Thomas pulls me aside. Take your lunch break early. 30 minutes. Go cool off. I'm not the one who needs to cool off, Zoe. Please, just go. Sit in my car during lunch. Hands are shaking. Everyone's so angry all the time here. It's like they can't handle any criticism. Typical defensive behavior. Day 5, Friday. Last day of my first week. Seriously considered not coming back, but that would be letting them win. Whatever them means in this context. Show up, clock in. The guys all go quiet when I walk into the break room. Great, they've been talking about me. Rick calls me into his office before shift starts. Zoe, we need to have a conversation. Oh, here we go. I've been getting reports that you're having trouble fitting in with the team. The team has been hostile to me since day 1. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you've been extremely negative, and it's affecting morale and productivity. I've been honest about the working conditions. Rick holds up a hand. Let me be clear. The working conditions here meet or exceed all legal requirements. We have regular safety inspections. We provide all necessary equipment. We follow every regulation. Legal requirements are a bare minimum, and we exceed them. Zoe, I've worked in this industry for 30 years. I've seen mills that cut corners. This isn't one of them. I'm just saying it could be better. Based on what? Your 4 days of experience? He sounds tired. Here's the thing. You're technically doing the work. Slowly, and with a lot of help, but you're doing it. So I can't fire you for performance. Yet, but if you keep disrupting the team, that's a different issue. So I'm asking you directly, can you do this job without the constant commentary? Yes or no, want to argue? Want to explain that I'm not being disruptive? I'm being honest. But his face tells me this isn't a discussion. I'll try. That's not a yes. Yes. Good. Because everyone out there, they come in, do one of the hardest jobs there is, and go home. They don't complain. They don't call it torture. They just do it. If they can manage it, so can you. Dismisses me. Today I'm assigned to work solo on inventory. Checking stock, marking clipboards, organizing materials. It's the easiest day I've had, which is good because I barely slept last night. Around 10 in the morning, Tyler comes to grab some supplies. We make eye contact. He shakes his head and walks away. Around noon, Danny stops by. How you holding up? It's the first non-angry thing anyone said to me in days. Fine. Look, I'm not trying to pile on. But yesterday was rough. Everyone was yelling at me because everyone's frustrated. You gotta understand, we take pride in this work. And when someone shows up and acts like it's beneath them, I never said it was beneath me. You didn't have to. It's in everything you say and do. He leans against a shelving unit. My dad worked in mills. His dad worked in mills. This is honest work, hard work, and yeah, it ain't perfect, but it's ours. And when you crap all over it every single day, I wasn't trying to. I know. I don't think you're trying to be disrespectful. I think you genuinely don't get it. But impact matters more than intent. He leaves. I'm left thinking about what he said, but also, he's still wrong. There's nothing wrong with pointing out that things could be better. That's how progress happens. Afternoon, Thomas comes to check on my inventory work. You've been quiet today. Rick talked to me. Yeah, he mentioned. Look, Zoe, I don't hate you. None of us do. Could have fooled me, he sighs. We're just tired. This job is exhausting enough without extra drama. Me having opinions isn't drama. It is when you share them constantly and they're all negative. He pauses. Can I ask you something? Why did you take this job? I wanted to prove I could do it. Prove to who? Don't have a good answer for that. And are you proving it? The job is impossible. It's not, though. We all do it. Every day. You're all used to it. We all started somewhere. Pete's been here 20 years. His first week, he almost quit. Said it was too hard. But he didn't complain to everyone else about it. He just decided, either stay and adapt or leave. So, I'm supposed to just suffer in silence? You're supposed to either accept the job for what it is, or find a different job. Those are the options. He starts to walk away, then turns back. One more thing. You keep saying it's torture. You know what torture is? Having no choice. We all choose to be here. You choose to be here. That makes it not torture. That makes it a job you don't like. End of day 5. Week 1 complete. Drive home in silence. Body aches. Hands are blistered, despite the gloves. Have bruises I don't remember getting. Get home. Collapse on couch. Roommate asks how work was. Torture. She gives me a look. What? Nothing. Just are you going to keep doing it? Of course I'm not a quitter. Even though you hate it? I don't hate it. I just think it's unnecessarily difficult. Isn't that the same thing? Spend the weekend thinking. Everyone at work is wrong. They're so defensive about their jobs that they can't see legitimate criticism. The heat is excessive. The hours are too long. The physical demands are unreasonable. Just because they've all normalized it doesn't make it okay. Imagine going back Monday. Imagine doing this for weeks, months, years. The thought makes me want to cry. But quitting would prove their point. That I couldn't handle it. That I took the job to make a statement and failed. Sunday night, lying in bed, alarm set for 4:45 in the morning, thinking about blast furnaces and angry faces and the word torture that everyone hates, thinking about how none of them understand what I was trying to say, thinking about how, maybe, possibly, I could explain it better, make them see that I'm not attacking them personally, just trying to improve things. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go back Monday and try a different approach. Be more constructive. Offer solutions instead of just complaints. They'll listen eventually. They have to. The fact that literally nothing I've said has gotten through to any of them doesn't mean I should stop trying. It means I need to try harder, communicate better, find the right words. Because I'm right about this. I know I am. The job is too hard, the conditions are too harsh, and someone needs to say it. If they can't handle hearing it, that's their problem, not mine. Fall asleep thinking about all the things I'll say on Monday. All the ways I'll make them understand. This week will be different. It has to be. Be Monday morning, week 2. Alarm goes off and my whole body screams in protest. Every muscle from last week is still sore. Drag myself out of bed anyway. I'm not giving up. Show up to the plant at 5:45 in the morning. Walk into the break room with my new attitude. Gonna be constructive today, solution-oriented. The guys are already there, looking exhausted. Pete glances at me and immediately looks away. Cool, great start. Clock in, get my assignment from Rick. Back to the furnace area with Thomas and Jerome. Okay, new approach, be positive. We start working, and the heat is immediately overwhelming. I last about 15 minutes before I can't help myself. You know, if they installed better ventilation systems in here, the temperature would be more manageable and productivity would probably increase. Thomas stops what he's doing, closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, doesn't respond. Jerome just shakes his head. Here we go. What? I'm offering a solution. We have industrial ventilation, 6 units. They're running right now. Well, clearly they're not adequate. Jerome puts down his tools. Zoe, it's hot because there's molten metal 12 feet away from us. That's not a ventilation problem. That's physics. I'm just saying that with better equipment, we have the best equipment. This is a modern facility. He's already getting angry and it's only 6 in the morning. Okay, I'm sorry, I was just trying to help. Then help by working instead of criticizing. Spend the next hour in tense silence. My new approach lasted literally 15 minutes. Around 8 in the morning, we rotate to different tasks. I'm with Danny and Tyler doing something with slag removal. It's exactly as terrible as it sounds. Hot, dirty, heavy work. I'm struggling with the tools. They're awkward and heavy. These tools really aren't ergonomically designed, I mention. Tyler doesn't even look at me. They're designed for moving slag. They do that fine. But if they were lighter, they're made of steel. To move steel, they have to be heavy. Industrial design has come a long way. There are probably better options. Danny cuts me off. Stop. Just stop. I'm trying to be constructive. You're doing the same thing as last week, just with the word probably added. His face is already getting red. It's the same complaints with a solution tacked on. You're still just complaining. Offering improvements isn't complaining. Tyler actually laughs. You've been in this industry for a week, 1 week, and you think you can redesign our tools? Fresh eyes can sometimes see things. Fresh eyes don't mean anything without experience. He's yelling now. It's 8:15 in the morning, and people are already yelling. You know what your problem is? Danny says, voice rising. You think being critical makes you smart. You think if you point out problems, that makes you valuable. Someone has to say something. No one has to say anything. The job works. It's worked for decades. It'll keep working. Tyler nods. You're not helping. You're not improving anything. You're just annoying everyone and convincing yourself it's constructive. They both go back to work. I'm standing there, tools in hand, feeling that same frustration from last week. They're not listening. They're not even trying to listen. 10 in the morning, break time. Sit by myself. The guys are all clustered together, talking quietly. Every so often, one of them glances over at me. Pete gets up, walks over, Oh, good, another lecture. Zoe, can we talk? Sure. He sits down, looks tired. Rick asked me to have a conversation with you. About what? About whether this is working out. My stomach drops. Are you firing me? I can't fire you. I'm not your supervisor. But Rick's concerned. We're all concerned. Because I have opinions? Because you're disruptive. It's only Monday morning, and you've already gotten into it with Jerome, Danny, and Tyler. They got mad at me for making suggestions. Your suggestions are criticisms. And they're based on no actual knowledge of the industry. He rubs his face. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. Last week, we all thought maybe you just needed time to adjust. That once you got used to the work, you'd settle in. I'm trying. But today, you came back and did the exact same thing. Which tells me you didn't learn anything from last week. I learned that everyone here is defensive and can't handle feedback. Pete's expression hardens. There it is. You think we're the problem. I think there's a communication issue. The communication is fine. You talk, we listen. We tell you you're wrong, you don't listen. That's the pattern. Maybe if you actually considered what I'm saying, we have. Every single one of us has tried to explain why your suggestions don't work. But you don't hear it. You just keep going. His voice is getting louder. People are looking over. Let me ask you something. In your entire life, has anyone ever told you that maybe you don't know everything? That's not fair. Has anyone ever told you that your opinion isn't always needed? Everyone's opinion matters. Not about things you know nothing about. Your opinion on steel manufacturing after 1 week doesn't matter. It just doesn't. He stands up. Rick's giving you until end of week. If you can't figure out how to just do the work without the constant commentary, you're done. Walks away. Sit there for the rest of break. Hands shaking. They're all ganging up on me. Going back to work after break. Assigned to work with Thomas again. He's clearly been told about Rick's ultimatum. Look, Zoe, let's just have a quiet day. You do your work, I'll do mine. No suggestions, no observations, just work. Fine. Last about an hour. We're working with some kind of quality control checks. The process seems inefficient to me. You know, if we did these checks in batches instead of individually, Thomas stops. Literally stops moving. Turns to look at me. What did I just ask you? An hour ago. What did I ask? I was just, no suggestions. I said no suggestions. That was the one thing I asked. This is different. This is actually about efficiency. I don't care. I don't care if you've figured out cold fusion. Keep it to yourself. He's not yelling, but his voice has this controlled anger that's almost worse. Can you do that? Can you just work in silence? I was trying to help. You're not helping. You're never helping. You're making everything worse. His voice cracks a little. I've been patient. I've tried to train you. I've tried to explain things. And you don't stop. Why don't you stop? Because someone needs to point out nothing. No one needs to point out anything. The job is fine. We're fine. Everything is fine except you. He walks away. Actually, just walks away in the middle of the shift. It leaves me standing there. Rick comes over 10 minutes later. Thomas asked to be reassigned. He doesn't want to work with you anymore. He's being unreasonable. He's my most reliable worker. If he says he can't work with you, I believe him. Rick looks at me for a long moment. I'm sending you home for the day. What? Why? Because we're 4 hours into Monday and you've already caused 3 separate incidents. Go home. Come back tomorrow. And figure out if you actually want this job. I do want. Then act like it. Act like someone who wants to be here, not someone who's here to prove a point. He walks away. I'm left standing in the middle of the factory floor. Everyone's working. No one's looking at me. But I can feel their awareness. They all know I'm being sent home. Grab my stuff and leave. It's only 10:30 in the morning. Sit in my car in the parking lot. This is insane. I'm trying to make things better and everyone's treating me like I'm the problem. They're all so stuck in their ways they can't see that change could be good. Drive home. Roommates surprised to see me. They send you home early? Rick's being unreasonable. What happened? Try to explain. Try to explain that I was just offering suggestions, that everyone overreacted, that they're all defensive and hostile. She listens, nodding. When I finish, she's quiet for a minute. Can I say something without you getting mad? Sure. Maybe this job just isn't for you. I can do the work. But do you want to? Like, really? Because from what you're telling me, you hate everything about it. I don't hate it. I just think it could be better. Okay, but like, you've been there a week. They've been there for years. Maybe they know better than you? Not her too. I thought you'd understand. I'm trying to. But honestly, it sounds like you're making yourself miserable and making everyone else miserable. For what? To prove I can do it. But you're not really doing it though. You're doing it badly and complaining the whole time. She says it gently, but it still stings. I need to lie down. Spend the rest of Monday in bed, thinking about everything. Everyone's wrong. They have to be. Tuesday morning. Seriously, consider not going back. But that would be quitting. Show up at 5:45 in the morning. Walk in, clock in. The break room goes quiet when I enter. Great. Rick assigns me to inventory again. Solo work. Clearly keeping me away from everyone else. Fine by me. Spend the morning counting stock and filling out forms. It's boring, but at least no one's yelling at me. Lunchtime. Sit in my car. Pete knocks on my window. Oh God, what now? Roll down the window. Yeah? Can we talk? Actually talk? I guess. He leans against the car. I've been thinking about what to say to you, trying to find the right words. If this is another lecture, it's not. Just listen, please. He takes a breath. I think you're a person who's used to being smart, used to being right, and that's probably served you well in a lot of places. Waiting for the but this isn't one of those places. This is a place where experience matters more than intelligence. Where doing matters more than thinking. I can do the work, barely. You can barely do it, and that's okay. It's hard. It takes time to get good at it. But instead of just accepting that you're a beginner and learning, you're trying to, I don't even know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to improve things. He holds up a hand. Here's the thing though, you can't improve something you don't understand, and you don't understand this. You don't understand the industry, the requirements, the constraints, the history. You just don't, so I'm supposed to just accept everything blindly. You're supposed to learn first. Then, maybe, after you've been here a year or two, you might have insights worth sharing. A year? Yeah, a year, minimum. That's how long it takes to really understand this job. He straightens up. Look, I don't think you're a bad person. I think you're in the wrong job. And I think your pride won't let you admit it. I'm not, just think about it. Actually think about it. Is this worth it? Is being miserable and making everyone else miserable really worth whatever point you're trying to prove? He walks away. Sit in my car for the rest of lunch. Afternoon is more inventory. Mind-numbing, repetitive work. But at least it's quiet. Wednesday starts the same way. Inventory duty again. I'm basically being isolated. Fine, whatever. Around 10 in the morning, Jerome comes to get supplies. We make eye contact. He looks like he's debating whether to say something. How you doing? Fine. Look, I know I've been hard on you. Everyone's been hard on me. Yeah, well, maybe there's a reason for that. Here we go again. We're not bad guys, Zoe. We're just tired. This job takes everything we've got. And when someone comes in acting like it's not good enough, I never said you weren't good enough. It feels the same, though. It feels like you're looking down on what we do. That's not my intention, I know. But impact over intent, right? He grabs his supplies. Rick's probably gonna let you go on Friday, just so you know, he said end of week, and it's almost end of week, and you haven't changed, so he leaves. Spend the rest of the day in a fog. They're really going to fire me. For what? Having opinions? Thursday. Wake up and just lie there, staring at the ceiling. Thinking about how everyone's wrong. How they're all stuck in their ways. How if they just listened to me, things could be better. But also thinking about the look on Thomas's face when he asked why I don't stop, the exhaustion in Pete's voice, the way everyone's anger feels less like hostility and more like weariness. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to doubt myself because they can't handle feedback. Get up, get ready, go to work. Rick's waiting for me in his office. Zoe, sit down. Am I fired? That depends on this conversation. He leans back in his chair. I've been doing this a long time. I've hired hundreds of people, and I've learned to spot certain patterns. What patterns? People who don't actually want to do the work. They want to have done it. They want to say they did it, but the actual doing, they hate it. I don't. You do. You hate this job. Every single aspect of it, and that's fine. Lots of people would hate this job, but most people who hate it just quit. You're staying, but you're making everyone around you miserable. I'm trying to make things better. No, you're trying to be right. There's a difference. He opens a folder. I've got reports here from every person you've worked with. Thomas, Pete, Danny, Jerome, Tyler. You know what they all say. Don't answer. They all say you don't listen. They've all tried to help you, train you, explain things, and you don't listen. Because listening would mean accepting that you might be wrong. That's not true. It is true. Zoe, I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you actually want this job? Open my mouth to say yes, but the word won't come out because the honest answer is no. I hate it here. I hate the heat and the noise and the early mornings and the physical pain. I hate feeling inadequate and weak and slow. I hate that everyone's angry at me all the time, but saying that out loud feels like losing. I want to be able to do it. That's not the same thing. He closes the folder. I'm going to make this easy for you. You're not fired, but I'm not keeping you on either. As of now, you're a voluntary resignation. I didn't resign. You will, because I'm giving you a choice. Leave now, with a neutral reference that says you tried the work and it wasn't a fit. Or stay and get fired on Friday for performance issues, and that follows you. This isn't fair. It's extremely fair. I'm giving you an out. Most people don't get that. He slides a paper across the desk. Sign this. It's a resignation form. You gave it your best shot. The work wasn't for you. No hard feelings. Stare at the paper. And if I don't, then you work tomorrow. I document every single issue and you get terminated. Your choice. The room is silent except for the distant sounds of the factory. Pick up the pen. Hand is shaking. Sign the paper. Rick takes it, files it. For what it's worth, I do think you were trying. I just don't think you were trying at the right thing. What does that mean? I think you were trying to prove something. To someone, maybe to yourself, but you weren't trying to actually do the job. He stands up. You can go now. HR will process your week's pay. Walk out of his office. Walk through the factory floor one last time. See all the guys working. Thomas glances over, sees me leaving with my stuff. He nods, just a small nod. Not triumphant, not mocking. Just acknowledgement. Get to my car. Sit in the parking lot. It's 11 in the morning on Thursday. Made it 4.5 days into my second week. Drive home. Roommate's there again. That was quick. I quit. Oh, thank God. Look at her. What? Zoe, you've been absolutely miserable. Like, the most miserable I've ever seen you. I'm glad you quit. I didn't want to quit. They made me. So they fired you? No, it's complicated. Sit down on the couch, feeling this weird mix of relief and shame. Do you think I was wrong? She sits next to me. I think you took a job you weren't suited for and then spent 2 weeks fighting against that reality instead of accepting it. But the conditions there are what they are. And everyone else manages. So either they're all superhuman, or the job is doable and you just didn't want to do it. Want to argue. Want to explain that it's more complicated than that. But I'm so tired. I really thought I could do it. Why did you want to? Like really, why? To prove that I could, that women could. But women do. You said some women have worked there, so there was nothing to prove. She's right. Hate that she's right. So what now? Now you find a job you actually want to do. Spend the weekend processing. Keep thinking about everything. All the conversations. All the angry faces. All the times I said, this is torture, and meant it. Monday morning. Sleep until 9 in the morning. The alarm doesn't go off, because I don't set it. Because I don't have to be at the mill to feel this wash of relief. Followed immediately by shame. Check my phone. No messages. Not that I expected any. The guys at the mill aren't going to miss me. They're probably celebrating. Spend the day on the couch, scrolling job listings, thinking about what Pete said. About being someone who's used to being smart, being right. He wasn't wrong about that. But that doesn't mean I was wrong about the mill. The conditions were harsh. The work was unreasonably difficult. Just because they all accepted it doesn't make it okay, right? Tuesday. Get a text from an old colleague. There's an opening at her company. Am I interested? It's an office job. Climate controlled, regular hours, no molten metal. Say yes immediately. Interview on Wednesday. It goes well. They offer me the job on Thursday. Start date next Monday. Feel this overwhelming relief. Back to the kind of work I'm actually good at. Friday afternoon, lying on the couch. Thinking about the mill, about Thomas and Pete and Jerome and Danny and Tyler. They're probably there right now, doing the same work they do every day. The work I couldn't handle for 2 weeks. Think about telling people this story. How I worked at a steel mill for 2 weeks. How it was torture. How the men there were hostile and defensive. How they couldn't handle criticism. How the working conditions were terrible. Frame it in my mind. Polish it. Make it into a story where I'm not the one who failed, where I'm the one who saw the truth and spoke up. And they couldn't handle it. Yeah, that's the story. That's what happened. Lie there, believing it, or trying to. Because believing it means I don't have to think about Thomas's tired face, or Pete's disappointment, or Jerome asking if I understood what he was trying to say, or Danny trying to explain about pride in the work, or Tyler pointing out that I never listened. Don't have to think about how many chances they gave me, how patient they tried to be. How I never, not once, stopped to consider that maybe they were right. Just have to believe my version. The version where I'm right and they're wrong. The version where their anger was unfair. The version where I was trying to help and they were too defensive to see it. Close my eyes, believe it harder. Because the alternative is admitting that I spent 2 weeks being exactly what they said I was. Entitled, insufferable, unwilling to learn. No, they were wrong. They had to be wrong. Because if they weren't, then I have to face the fact that I failed. Not because the job was impossible, but because I refused to actually try. Refused to listen. Refused to learn. Refused to accept that being smart doesn't mean being right. And I can't face that. So I don't. Lie there, eyes closed, believing my version. The version where everyone else was the problem, where I was the victim, where I learned nothing because there was nothing to learn. Monday comes. Start my new job. It's easy, comfortable, familiar. Sit at my desk in the air conditioning and never think about the mill again, or at least try not to, because sometimes, late at night, I remember the heat and the noise, and Thomas asking, "Why don't you stop?" And I don't have an answer, still don't have an answer, probably never will, because answering it would mean admitting something I can't admit, so I don't. I just keep going. Different job, same me. Nothing learned, nothing changed, exactly like they said.